Are you filing an I-601 or I-601A hardship waiver and you're confused about how to win your case? If yes, please watch this video. I'm Cecily, founder of Root Migration, and I help undocumented individuals achieve lawful status through consular processing without fear or confusion. In this video, I'm going to discuss 6 things you need to do to win your waiver case. If you're trying to consular process and you've been told you need a waiver of inadmissibility, watch this video all the way to the end so you can get all the info you need. As always, this video is general in nature and does not pertain to your specific circumstances. Watching this video does not create an attorney-client relationship between us, and I'm not answering specific questions with respect to your specific case. If you need specific legal advice, I highly recommend you contact a competent immigration attorney. Immigration law is really complicated and you need somebody who can evaluate your specific circumstances. I'd be happy to consult with you about your case if you're interested. There's a link in the description below that can get you to my website where you can book a consultation with me. You do need to fill out a questionnaire first that gets some preliminary information that I need, and then I'd be happy to meet with you and we can talk about your case. One of the most important things you can do on your waiver case is to actually investigate your own background to find out what information immigration has about you. This can be done relatively easily through filing Freedom of Information Act requests, or FOIAs as they're commonly known. FOIAs are free to file, there's no cost associated with them, and you can file them with any number of immigration agencies in the US. The information that you receive in response to a FOIA is really critical to your case. And it's something that I do for all of my clients across the board. So I highly recommend that you file FOIAs with the various agencies associated with immigration before starting a consular processing case. Additionally, I often file FBI background checks or even a state level background check that will give me further information about any border apprehensions or criminal arrests. All of these things are free to do. Typically, the FBI background check costs $18. In general, it's not that expensive, and it's definitely worth it to do this to get some preliminary information and really understand what information the government has about you before you initiate a case. Even if you've already initiated a case, you can still do it, and I highly recommend that you do it at any point, but mostly before you attend your immigrant visa interview in your home country. Okay, the next important tip for winning your waiver case is to discuss all relevant hardships. One of the hardest things about doing a waiver case is sometimes to understand what's relevant and what's not relevant. What should you really discuss in your declaration or in the documents that you're submitting in support of your waiver? So the key thing to understand is that you have to prove extreme hardship to the qualifying relative. A qualifying relative is a United States citizen or lawful permanent resident spouse or parent of the person seeking the green card or seeking status. The hardship to that qualifying relative has to be quote unquote extreme. The way the hardship is evaluated is for its cumulative effect. So that means if you have different hardships that might alone seem trivial or insignificant, or you're not really sure if it meets an extreme hardship standard, discussing all of them together, they can sort of combine or build upon one another in order to arguably make an extreme situation. It's really broad, and you want to include any and all hardships from your childhood, from your teen years, things in adulthood, prospective hardships, if you're looking forward to the future of a particular career or something like that. Everything is relevant, and you can combine those hardships together to create an extreme situation. Okay, tip number 3. Discuss why the qualifying relative cannot relocate to the beneficiary's home country. So let me explain. Again, the qualifying relative is the United States citizen or lawful permanent spouse or parent of the person seeking a green card. The beneficiary is the person seeking the green card. Anybody who's seeking a waiver of inadmissibility has some sort of punishment that they've been deemed to be applicable to their case. And that punishment usually involves time outside of the United States, ostensibly in their country of origin. They might have to wait a certain amount of time and then they would be eligible for a visa. And what the waiver is doing is waiving that period of time, waiving that punishment. One of the things that you need to discuss in your waiver is why can't the United States citizen spouse, lawful permanent resident spouse, United States citizen parent, lawful permanent resident parent that's qualifying the person for the waiver, why can't that person just move home, quote unquote, with the beneficiary, move to that person, to the beneficiary's country of origin. And there can be a lot of reasons for this. There could be, maybe the qualifying relative has no ties to that country. Maybe the qualifying relative has a career prospect in this country or educational aspirations that they're pursuing. Maybe there's a medical issue and there's not adequate medical attention in the country of origin. Maybe the country of origin has some challenges with security or particular, persecution of particular types of people. There could be any number of reasons why the citizen or lawful permanent qualifying relative cannot relocate to the beneficiary's home country, but you really want to address that in the waiver. You don't want to leave that unmentioned because it's an important part of the analysis. So preparing and filing an I-601 or an I-601A can be really confusing and overwhelming. If you have any questions or specific things you'd like me to discuss in a future video, please leave it in the comments below. I'd be happy to help you out, or I'd be happy to record a video on another topic that you're interested in. Tip number 4, don't be afraid to use emotion. So some people erroneously believe because this is a legal process that their emotions or even their mental health or their psychological status with respect to losing, the hardship that they would suffer if their beneficiary is not in the country, is not in the United States, isn't as relevant or doesn't carry as much weight as other types of hardships like financial or something like that, or medical. And that's really not true. Again, the hardships are counted cumulatively, they're added together. It's really important to discuss everything. And psychological hardships or past abuse or past trauma, or even, if you've never been abused or traumatized, but even just your emotions and how you would feel and the things that you would experience in the absence of your spouse or your child or your parent or whatever the case might be really matters and can be a very important component to your waiver application. Don't shy away from those topics. Include them in addition to other hardship arguments that you're going to make in your waiver. Tip number 5, don't hide the ball. Lots of people think if there's something negative in their past, it's best not to mention it on their application or just omit it entirely. Nothing is further from the truth. It is really always better in every situation to admit bad facts. And so this could be related to a criminal arrest or a border apprehension or maybe a form that you filled out where you lied about something. It's always better to be upfront and honest about mistakes you've made in the past. It is also really critical if you have something like that in your background to make sure that you consult with a competent immigration attorney so you can make sure that the problem isn't going to create ineligibility for the benefit that you seek. You want to make sure that you can actually do the case despite what happened. That's really critical. If you're eligible for consular processing and you're eligible for resident status, but you have something negative that's happened in the past, like a criminal arrest, it's much, much better to discuss it, be upfront about it, be honest about it, and really talk about the lessons you've learned and how you live your life differently now than you did back then, and the circumstances around why you made the decision that you made. But immigration really wants to see that you take ownership of it and that you're not going to continue to make poor decisions in the future. That's really the key. Okay, tip number 6, don't lie about anything. I cannot tell you how many times people think, and this kind of relates to tip number 5. People think lying about something or omitting information is going to be a benefit in their immigration case. That's not ever true. You really want to be totally honest and clear and upfront about everything. And that includes times that you've been in the United States unlawfully, any and all children you might have, and also things like arrest history and that kind of stuff, or where your family members are. If your family members are in the United States in undocumented status, a lot of times people want to hide that. There's things that, people with good intentions, they want to hide things or not mention certain things. In general, I just want to encourage you to be upfront and honest about everything as possible. You do need to speak to an immigration attorney about your specific circumstances, but in general, it's always better to be completely honest and upfront and don't lie about anything. If you lie on your papers, on your form or in your interview or anything, then that's committing fraud and it's only going to cause you more problems down the line. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or you have any other video ideas that you'd like to see me do, post a comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say and I'll try to help you out if you have any questions. Also, if you want to schedule a consultation with me, there's a link below where you can go to my website and fill out a questionnaire and book a consultation with me. And that way I can answer your specific questions about your case. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.